heavenly. Translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? Purport. In this 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that work in devotional service is better than dry mental speculation. Devotional service is easier than the latter because, being transcendental in nature, it frees one from reaction. In the 2nd chapter, preliminary knowledge of the soul and its entanglement in the material body were explained. How to get out of this material engagement by Buddha yoga or devotional service was also explained therein. In the 3rd chapter, it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge has no longer has any duties to perform. And in the 4th chapter, the Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. However, at the end of the 4th chapter, the Lord advised Arjuna to wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge. Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work in devotion and inaction in knowledge, Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. Arjuna understands that renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how is work stopped? In other words, he thinks that sannyas, or renunciation in knowledge, should be altogether free from all kinds of activity, because work and renunciation appear to him to be incompatible. He appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non-reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. He inquires, therefore, whether he should cease work altogether or work with full knowledge. Arjuna uvacha, sannyasam karmanam Krishna puna yoga shamsasi yachchaya etayor ekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? So, Arjuna represents us. He acts as our questioner. He's asking questions which will be the same questions we would ask if we were in this situation. Now, of course, we were not there to ask those questions. If we were there, we'd already be back to Godhead. So, we were not there. So we required somehow to get this knowledge. Therefore, Arjuna mercifully took the role of the conditioned soul and asked questions which the conditioned soul would ask. Now someone may say, why do we say that Arjuna took a role as a conditioned soul? Wasn't he actually bewildered? Well, no. Because if Arjuna was a bewildered, conditioned soul, he wouldn't be standing right in front of Krishna asking him questions. You cannot realize Krishna like this by being a bewildered, conditioned soul. Rather, Arjuna is an eternally liberated soul, Nitya Siddha. He's never contaminated by the material world, no matter what he does. He is here as Krishna's servant, Krishna's friend. And wherever Krishna goes, in all of the different universes, Arjuna follows him. Arjuna is eternally Arjuna. It is not that you can become Arjuna. Arjuna is always Arjuna. And he goes from universe to universe, along with his brothers, the Pandavas. And wherever Krishna is, he goes too. And Krishna is always speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That's the eternal pastime of the Lord in every universe. Krishna has his eternal roadshow He's going from universe to universe, one after another, throughout the whole material creation. After he finishes his pastimes in one universe, he starts them up in another universe. And when he finishes in that universe, he goes to another universe. And all of his associates, his eternal associates, they go with him. The rest of the devotees, they are the demigods who have descended with Krishna in his family, the Yadu dynasty, just to help the Lord expand his pastime. But there are, and there are some souls, just to tell you about all of the souls who are there, there are some souls who are coming up from the conditioned platform, about to take the position as eternally liberated. So those souls have been performing austerities, penances, devotional service for many lifetimes. Bahunam janmanam ante Gyanavalmam prapojjate Vasudeva savamiti samahatmasudula. After many, many births and deaths, one who is actually enlightened surrenders to Krishna, knowing him to be the cause of all causes and all there is. And such a great soul is very rare. Very rare in this world. Therefore, Mahatma, great soul, very rare. You cannot become a Mahatma just because some people call you Mahatma. You can become Mahatma when you know Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Vasudeva, Krishna is everything. That's a Mahatma. So, one who actually has surrendered to Krishna, there he goes to some place, some universe, where Krishna is manifesting his eternal pastimes. And he takes up a role as one of the associates of the Lord while the Lord is here in the material world. And he gets trained up in his eternal service to the Supreme. When he becomes perfected in that particular service, then he goes back home, back to Godhead, to the spiritual world. Now when Krishna appears here in the material world, it's not the material world anymore. Wherever Krishna is, that's the spiritual world. So for those devotees, they cannot tell the difference. But they go from this platform to the Goloka planet and associate with Krishna directly. So Arjuna was one of those devotees who was eternally liberated. He was not coming from the demigods. He was not coming up in his advancement to the eternal liberated platform. He descended with Krishna from the spiritual world to the material world, and he follows Krishna wherever Krishna goes through all the different universes. And just before the battle of Kurukshetra starts, in each and every one of those universes, Arjuna becomes bewildered. He all of a sudden thinks, oh no, I have to now kill my relatives, my cousins, my uncles, my grandfather, my teacher. This is very hard. I cannot do this. Why? Because all of a sudden, Arjuna starts thinking that he is the body. That he is the body, and that these persons there across the other side of the battlefield, these are extensions of his body, being his relatives in the family. And he becomes so overwhelmed with lamentation that he just starts crying, sits on the chariot seat, drops his famous bow to the ground, Gandiva bow, which is never defeated, and he says, Govinda, I shall not fight anymore. I cannot do it. So this is eternal pastime, because it is at this time that Krishna takes the opportunity to instruct Arjuna in such a way that he will become freed from illusions, yet at the same time, we, all the conditioned souls who are going to manifest in material bodies, earthly bodies, human bodies, since time immemorial afterwards, we would also be able to read, hear Bhagavad Gita, and learn from these questions made by Arjuna. Oh, don't shut that door. Open. So, Arjuna asks questions just for us. Just so we can learn. We can make advancement. Because we had no opportunity to... You need a place to plug in?
There's a study too.
There's a place right there. I see what's right there. There's two. Why don't you sit there? So, Arjuna is helping us very much. Because otherwise, we would have a very big trouble in this world without the mercy of such questions. We would have an extremely big trouble in this world, surrendering. Why don't you move over more? Move up. The traffic police. We would have a very big trouble surrendering to Krishna if we didn't have here this Bhagavad Gita. There was no Bhagavad Gita like this with all these questions and answers. How would we conquer over the same problems that Arjuna is facing? Who would be the authority? Who would tell us? Therefore, Krishna gives us the definitive answer. It's like this, and it is like that. Therefore, we are very lucky. For when Krishna gives his opinion, that is final. There's no need to go to any higher authority. There is no higher authority. There's no need to get it clarified, because whatever Krishna says is already perfectly clear. Whatever Krishna says is clear. Whatever another may say, you may find it's a little bit unclear, or something maybe not even correct. But when Krishna says it, it's crystal clear. Now, of course, when certain classes of philosophers, namely the Mayavadis, they want to twist out of this philosophy some other kind of statement. They don't like Krishna's words, because all that Krishna says ends up being surrender to me. They don't like that, because they don't want to surrender to Krishna. They want to be Krishna. Such big rascals. So, when Krishna says surrender to me, they say, not to Krishna. Don't surrender to Krishna. He's just saying that here. But what he really means is you surrender to the unborn within him, because he realized it. Now you can also realize the unborn within you, and then you surrender to that. That's what Krishna means. Can you imagine the rascaldom? Krishna says clearly, it's very simple, surrender to me. Is there any question? Anybody here has any question? What surrender to me means? You think it's difficult? Surrender to me? Complicated? 3 words. Surrender. Surrender means give up all these conceptions, all these possessions, all these ideas. Surrender. 2 is now indicating to which person you should surrender. 2. Me. Since Krishna is speaking, it means him. It's simple, isn't it? Only a fool wouldn't understand what surrender means. But a Mayavadi, a big rascal, the first thing he says is don't surrender to Krishna. I quote you from one rascal. In Bhagavad Gita, in the 9th chapter, 39th verse, I think it is, Krishna says, Mamana bhava mad bhakto majati man namaskuru mam evaishasi satcham te pratijane priyosame. So there, in that verse, Krishna says 6 times, to me. Man mana. Think of me. Bhava mad bhakto. Become my devotee. Madhyaji. Worship me. Mam namaskuru. Pay obeisance to me. Mam evaishasi sachante. And by being in a friendship relationship with me this way, me, pratijane priyosi me. You will come to me without any doubt. Actually, pratijane priyosi me, 6 times Krishna said to me, 6 times in one verse. You probably can't even find another verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says 6 times to me. 6 times to me, to me, to me, to me, to me, to me. In one verse of 4 little lines. And what is the commentary of this rascal? It is not to Krishna we should surrender, but to the unborn, unmanifested within Krishna. Such a nonsense. Kick him in the face with shoes. Directly against what Krishna said. This is called asura. Asura is one who will directly cause offense to the Supreme Lord, directly, face to face. He will take whatever Krishna says and just turn it around to the opposite, because he's completely envious of Krishna. And this particular asura who wrote this, he, at the end of his life, had to suffer paralysis, where he could not move at all. And he was suffering terribly, so much pain, yet he could not die. He just could not die. For years he had to go on suffering this way. And one time, Srila Prabhupada met with this rascal when he was in this condition. And Srila Prabhupada just preached to him very nicely about how when Krishna says to me, he means to him. But this nonsense, he could not speak because he was paralyzed. He was simply becoming fuming, red, mad. Smoke coming out of his ears. And Prabhupada just kept telling him very nicely. So we find that such persons, they hate Krishna. Itcha dvesha samutvena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sargayate parampapa. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that everybody in this world is born into the dualities of desire and hatred. Itcha, I want. Dvesha, I hate. Everybody in the whole world is born into these 2 dualities of desire and hatred. Sarva bhutani sammoham. They're all bewildered. Who's not bewildered? Everybody's bewildered by these modes of nature. And everybody is taking birth in this body in order to enjoy that which they think is very nice, and to avoid or work against that which they hate. So everybody's born into this. Chibir, Gunamayayar, Bhavayar, Evi, Sarvam, Vidam, Jagat, Mohitam, Nabhijanati, Mane, Vyakparamabhyayam. Krishna says, deluded by these 3 modes of material nature, the whole world knows me not, who am original and inexhaustible. Nobody knows Krishna. Krishna is so easy to know. You simply read Bhagavad Gita. What is the difficulty? Anyone here has any difficulty to know Krishna? I mean, in part, to some extent. Maybe not in full, but everybody can know Krishna. You simply read Bhagavad Gita. Everybody here knows how to read. So, you just take one Bhagavad Gita, read, you'll know Krishna. It is not difficult. When you read Krishna's words, you come to know him. When you read what he says here, he's telling Arjuna various things. surrender to me. So you can know Krishna is somebody great who we should surrender to. And someone may say, but just because Krishna says surrender to me doesn't mean I should surrender to Krishna. No, but Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravadate iti matta bhajanti mam mudabhava samanta. I am the source of everything. From me, the entire creation flows. The whole creation comes from Krishna. He said that in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. From me, the entire creation flows. So therefore, that means Krishna is much greater than us. For us, we can't even create the smallest thing. We have to go to the store and buy it. Krishna, he creates the whole cosmic manifestation. Therefore, obviously, he's in a much greater position than we. So therefore, being that we are small and he is great, we surrender to him. Logic. Now, Arjuna, he's standing before Krishna and he's feeling weakness. That same weakness we all experience, especially while trying to take up the process of surrender to the Supreme. Often we experience weaknesses. Why? Because we are small, and when you are small, there is great tendency to fall down off the platform of devotional service, fall down off the platform of Krishna consciousness. So, who's that? Huh? That's not so good that I'm talking in English.
Who's doing it?
So, what did I just say? Krishna's great. Therefore, we should surrender to Krishna. Now, Arjuna is making the inquiry because he was bewildered. And therefore, Krishna is the one who can free him from bewilderment because Krishna is acting as Arjuna's spiritual master. Kutasvam kasmalamidam. He said, Shishisteham Sadimam Tam Prapanna. That now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. In other words, Krishna acts now as spiritual master of Arjuna, not friend of Arjuna. So therefore Arjuna is asking humble inquiries. What is this? What is this? What shall I do? How shall I do? Now Arjuna in this 5th chapter is asking a question, which is a very important question. And that is as follows. O Krishna, first of all, you ask me to renounce work. And then again, you recommend work with devotion. Now these two things seem to be, on the surface, completely contradictory. On one hand, Krishna is saying, renounce material work. Do not act materially. Give up the entanglements of action. Do not become involved in these reactions. And then, on the other side, it seems, Krishna is saying, work with devotion, work for my satisfaction, do everything for me, like this. So, it seems, because Arjuna wants to clarify it for us, it seems that Arjuna cannot understand how you can simultaneously renounce all work and work in devotion. It seems to be contradictory. Because Arjuna, at this point, due to the mercy of Krishna, has not understood, because we would not have understood, that work in devotion is like not working at all, because it brings no reaction. In other words, work that brings reaction is to be avoided. Work which frees one from reactions is to be accepted. Work which brings reactions entangles us in this material world. Therefore, it's to be rejected. Work which frees us from all reactions is to be accepted. So that is work in devotion. It is better than not working, because it not only doesn't bring reaction, but frees us from previous reactions. Therefore, it's perfect. And therefore, Krishna recommended to Arjuna to work in devotion. Now, Krishna will say in the next verse, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotion is better than renunciation of work. Now, here Krishna says, to give up all work activity, that is good. That's good for liberation, at least. But to work in devotion, that's also good. But it's actually better. Because work in devotion brings us to the platform of surrendering to Krishna, whereas simple renunciation of work may not do so. Simple renunciation of work may simply get us to the platform of liberation, but it does not get us to the platform of positive engagement in Krishna's service. Therefore, of the two, work in devotional service is superior to renunciation of work. And that work is also renunciation. Krishna explains in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in the 1st verse, that one who is actually a sannyasi is one who renounces the fruits of his work as an offering to Krishna and works in devotion. Not he who performs no work or lights no fire, sacrificial fire, or performs no work. When you perform no work, when you do no sacrifice, that's not renunciation. Not in the sense of being sannyas, freed from attachment. No, that's ignorance. Real renunciation means to work in devotion. And that's what Krishna is explaining right here in this part of Bhagavad Gita. Here in the next verse, in text 3, he says, one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. He doesn't hate the fruit that he gets. He's not involved in the dvesha or the aversion. He's not delighting in the fruits that he gets, thinking, oh, this is so nice. Because he's not victimized by itcha or desire. He is free from both this desire and aversion. Therefore, he is never lamenting nor hankering. Brahmabhuta prasanatma nasochati nakamshati samaksaveshu bhuteshu madbhakti mamate param. He is liberated. Brahmabhuta means no longer captured by the conceptions of the ahankara, false ego, this false identification. I am man, I am woman, I am black, I am white, I am Yugoslavian, I am German, I am Russian, I am Chinese, I am fat, I am skinny, I am young, I am old. These are all called upadi, designations. Bodily, material designations. These designations are capturing the conditioned souls and giving them so much trouble. If you put the curtain in front of me, put the curtain in front of me. Okay, that's good. That was good. So, all of these material designations of life capture the conditioned soul and keep him bound up in the material world. Sarvupadi vinirmuktam tatpadvena nirmalam Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. By engaging in bhakti, one can free himself from all these bodily designations of life. That is this Brahmabhuta platform. Freedom from all bodily designations. No more considering, I am anything but Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit soul. I am part of Krishna. That's all. Nothing more. Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit. Then, at that time, when such a person has a transcendental vision like that, he then feels prasanatma, unbounded transcendental joy. Prasanatma. At least one would say he feels transcendental bliss. Yam labva chaparam lavam manyante na adikam taha yasmin stito na dukkena guruna pi vichalyate. In this endeavor, when one achieves this goal of being Krishna conscious, he thinks there is no greater achievement that could ever be gained. He knows there's nothing more that you could ever get. And despite all conditions which would ordinarily agitate one in this material world, one is fixed. Yasmin stita. He's fixed in that understanding. Dukkena, no matter what kind of unhappiness comes, even if it's really heavy, gunapi, really heavy, very painful, disturbing, it does not shake. Once situated, he remains fixed. It's never shaken. That is the platform of Brahmabhuta. And in that platform, he doesn't hanker. Oh, I want this, I want that, I need this, I need that. And he doesn't lament, oh, I have lost what I had. Oh, I have lost this thing. Oh, I have lost this. Oh, I have lost that. He doesn't hanker, and he doesn't lament. He simply engages himself in Krishna's service. On that platform, samapsardeshu bhuteshu, he starts to see all living entities equal. He doesn't make all these artificial distinctions between this kind of living entity and that kind of living entity. He sees them all as Krishna's part and parcel. And he loses his envious attitude towards other living entities. He simply wants to work as the best wishing friend of all living entities. Suridam sarva bhutanam. Krishna is the best wishing friend of all living entities. So the devotee, when he becomes perfected a little bit in Krishna consciousness, he also becomes the friend of all living entities, wanting to do that which Krishna wants him to do. That is to bring Krishna consciousness to all the conditioned souls. And at that time, bhaktim savate param. He engages himself in Krishna's devotional service without failing. And bhaktimam abhijanati avanyastadmi tattataha tatomam tattato gyatva vishate taranam. In that platform, when you engage in Krishna's service, then you can understand me as I am, says Krishna, and attain my kingdom. He says, bhaktyamam abhijanati. Abhijanati, you can know me. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Through bhakti. You can only know Krishna through bhakti yoga. You cannot know Krishna through karma yoga, jnana yoga, mystic yoga, ashtanga yoga, any yoga. Only bhakti. It is through this process of bhakti yoga that one will be able to understand or know Krishna. To know Krishna is very difficult, because Krishna is very great. But we can know Him and love Him if we simply engage ourselves in this linking process of bhakti yoga. Linking process. It is a process which takes us from the platform of Ignorance brings us up to the platform of knowledge, and from the platform of knowledge we come to the platform of surrender. That's what Krishna was emphasizing in the 4th chapter. In the 4th chapter, Krishna was emphasizing coming to the platform of knowledge, and from the platform of knowledge coming to the platform of surrender. And in the 5th chapter, Krishna will emphasize how practically one can do that. By doing all of one's works as an offering to Krishna. And he says this also. Yat kurosh, yat ashnash, yat jahosh, dudashiyat, yat tapasyasi kontesh, tat kurusha manava. All that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, all austerities you perform, should be done as an offering unto me. So Krishna says everything you do, in all respects, should be done as an offering unto me. That's perfection. To do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. This is perfection. Therefore, in 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will instruct everyone how to do everything in Krishna's service. This is real karma yoga. After all, to make an activity is a form of karma. Not a reaction, but action. Karma means action. And to perform an activity in Krishna's service is called karma yoga, or action in Krishna consciousness. Pure karma activity, or activity in karma, means to act, but without Krishna consciousness. When you act in Krishna consciousness, that activity is known as action in Krishna consciousness, which is transcendental. To simply perform an activity in material consciousness, then at the end, get a fruit, then offer that fruit to Krishna. That's nice. But that's not Krishna consciousness purely. That's mixed. One is acting and getting fruit of reactions. But then at the end, he renounces the fruit of action. That's nice. That's not bad. That's also a form of service to Krishna. But real Krishna consciousness means all that you are doing, and while you are doing it, you do it as an offering to Krishna. Krishna says in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, if I can remember this, Krishna says in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that, therefore, always think of me in this form of Krishna. Always meditating on me as I am standing before you now. But go out and act, Arjuna. Fight. Go out and fight, because Arjuna may be a little bewildered here. Krishna said, don't work. Then at the very end of 4th chapter, he said, go out and fight. So fighting seems to be working. So, what he's really saying is, go out and fight for me, because I'm asking you to do it. Go out and take up this role of action for me, because I want you to do it. And surrender to me. Giving up all your thoughts to me, all of your desires. This is pure devotion. Pure devotion means just always be absorbed in Krishna. There are symptoms of pure devotion. Anya bilashita shanyam jnana kamadana vritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. Uttama bhakti, uttama. Tama means darkness. Ut means beyond. Uttama means the topmost position of bhakti, of transcendental loving service to the Lord, is when one is freed from all other material desires. He only has one desire, and that desire is to serve the devotion, to serve the Lord in loving devotion. Anya bilashita. All other desires, shunyam. Make them zero. Finish them off. They don't exist. Jnana karmadana vritam, that are born from mental speculation. jnana, or fruit of desire, karma. Finish off all these, and anything else you can think of. Anukulyena Krishnanu. Anukulyena means it's done favorably. Because you can also think of Krishna all the time in an unfavorable way. Like Kamsa. Kamsa was a big demon. He was trying to kill Krishna by any means, because there was a prediction at the time of the marriage of his sister that he would be killed by the 8th son of his sister. So the first thing he tried to do was kill his sister. But that wasn't very good to do. You're not supposed to kill your sister, especially on her wedding day. So Vasudeva, the husband of Devaki, sister of Kamsa, he talked fast and convinced Kamsa not to do it. And that later on, when the 8th child would be born, he would give him to Kamsa, and Kamsa could kill him. Yeah. So, Kamsa, he couldn't kill that 8th child, obviously, because that 8th child was Krishna. So he was always thinking about him. And especially up at the last few days of Kamsa's life, just before Krishna did kill him, because that's what was said, and it was true. Kamsa simply thought of Krishna all the time. Everywhere he looked, he saw Krishna. Everywhere, when he was sleeping, he was dreaming of Krishna coming and killing him. All day, all night, it was just Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Everywhere he only saw people coming, he thought they were Krishna. Everything was Krishna, everywhere Krishna. So he was extremely Krishna conscious. But this kind of Krishna consciousness is not favorable Krishna consciousness. This is unfavorable Krishna consciousness. This is rejected. Anukulyena, it means favorable. Of course, Narada Muni, somewhere in the 6th canto or something like this of Srimad Bhagavatam, praises those who are engaged in serving Krishna by thinking of him, even in anger, or in fear, or in lust, or in love. Because after all, the whole point is to become Krishna conscious. If you can become perfectly Krishna conscious, even though you are thinking of Krishna in not exactly the perfect way, but you are always thinking of Krishna, well, that's also perfect. It's also perfect. There's nothing wrong with that you can do. But when you are engaged in serving Krishna according to the way Krishna wants, that's even better. When one is always thinking of Krishna favorably, always acting for Krishna favorably, and this is what Krishna wants, then that's very nice. That's very auspicious. That's all very favorable. Anukulyena. Then Krishna nu. Krishna nu means all the time. That doesn't mean that you think of Krishna sometimes. Krishna nu means all the time. And Shilanam, that's very auspicious. Bhaktir Uttama. This is the topmost bhakti. When one is simply thinking of Krishna without any other desire, devoid of all material desires, devoid of all other material activities, favorably thinking of Krishna, always, this is Uttama Bhakti. Not only thinking of Krishna, acting for Krishna. There's 9 forms of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Shravanam, hearing. Kirtanam, chanting. Vishnu Smaranam, remembering Krishna. Padasevanam, serving his lotus feet. Archanam, worshipping the deity. Vandanam, offering prayer. Sakyam means acting as, Dasyam, acting as the order carrier. Sakyam, acting as friend, and Atmani Vedinam, acting for full surrender, giving everything to Krishna. So these are 9 processes of devotional service. And one who is a devotee of Krishna would like to perform all 9 of them. But if you even become perfected only in one of them, that can bring you right back home, back to God. In our process of Krishna consciousness, we perform many different forms of these services. We are hearing and chanting. Right now I'm chanting, you're hearing. But when you chant japa, you both chant and hear. Or when we chant kirtan, we are both hearing and chanting. And remembering Krishna, well, that you do every time you're about to fall down the stairs or something. is remembering Krishna. Maybe one doesn't do it during the ordinary course of events. But when something terrible is about to happen, then he remembers Krishna very clearly. In the ordinary course of events, we should also remember Krishna. So that's also there. And Padasevanam, performing service, menial service even. Yes, we are washing Krishna's floor. We are sweeping. We are washing the dishes. We are carrying something here and there. We are doing these services for Krishna like that. And Archanam, well, we're not doing Archanam yet, because we don't have any Archanam. We have also Archanam when you worship the painting of Panchatattva. That's also deity. It's a form of deity worship, so this is also Archanam when you do Arti. And Vandanam, when we offer prayers, we are sometimes chanting different prayers. When you offer Chintamani prayer, for instance, in the morning, Govindam prayer, this is offering prayer to the Supreme. Vandanam. Our kids are mentioning everything. Then Dasyam. Dasyam means that we are out serving Krishna. That and Atmani Vegnam perhaps may be out of our reach right now. To act towards Krishna's friend may be a little too high platform. Surrender everything to Krishna, that may be possible. But that is generally the platform where we find the most advanced souls. So in the meantime, 7 of the 9 services are very available to us. We can perform. We are performing every day. We visit the temple every day. I'm doing Sankirtan mission here in New very nice. So we should go on this way. But try to get to the point of always doing these services without any fruitive desire, without any mental speculation. Oh, I know this is like saying both. But one should try to avoid the process of mental speculation, even though that's like practically giving up one's life breath. But one should try hard. Then gradually, you'll come to the point where speculation is dissipation. You won't like it, believe it or not. You actually get to that point where one doesn't like to speculate. And he only likes to hear the absolute truth that is given directly by spiritual master or Krishna. So gradually, little by little by little, these very elevated platforms of devotional service are available if we simply try to surrender to the Supreme and pure love. There are so many reasons why we shouldn't surrender. Material reasons. The body being the number one reason. The body and the mind. These give us so many reasons why we shouldn't surrender. The mind says, if you surrender to Krishna, you won't get any sense gratification. You don't like that, and so it's not surrender. But that's foolish. Who says we have no sense gratification? We are enjoying. We have nice prasadam. We have nice music. We have nice association. We have so many things to do. Who says we're not enjoying? We're also enjoying, but a different type of enjoyment. We are enjoying on a higher level. And when one experiences that higher level, then he's no longer attracted to that lower level of material enjoyment. He no longer can tolerate it. He doesn't have the slightest interest in such levels. He simply wants to take Krishna consciousness more and more, the taste of Krishna consciousness more and more, and expand that in his own life and in the lives of others. So please kindly take this Krishna consciousness very sincerely. Now we only have 3 more minutes by which we can speak about Krishna like this. But when we go, that means now there are many instructions there. There's also these wonderful books that one should read and study and learn and hear from each other one's realizations of Krishna consciousness, and go on bringing Krishna consciousness to others, and one will make more and more advancements in a much better way than engaging with material existence, so much nature. And in this way, one will become actually very, very enlightened with Krishna consciousness. Go back home, back to God, be very, very happy. So please take this process seriously, sincerely, and accomplish those purposes which we are meant to accomplish in Krishna consciousness. bring to every door, every person, a chance to surrender to the Spirit. Whether they take that chance immediately or not is also not up to us. It's between them and the Lord, but we should at least give them the opportunity by approaching them and saying, "Sir, please take care of these chances and the chance here of these things." That they don't take it immediately also should not be a cause of disturbance, because they can take it later on. We know plenty of examples of persons who said no for years, and then one day said, "Okay, give me everything." And it's not that just because somebody says no, I don't want it, it means you'll always not want it. Just by seeing you, we get purified. And if every year the same person who says no keeps seeing you, and he becomes amazed at how you keep coming on and on and on, even though you keep saying no. And then one day he just surrenders and say, "Okay, give me everything you got." We have many examples of this. We should take this seriously and actually try to surrender to Krishna very nicely, and our lives will be sublime. So it's all right? Okay, now. And we'll see you all again very soon. That way, you can all come back and talk more about each other together. And be able to present us more. And now go on. So it's very nice. You got it. Yeah, 13 seconds. One second. The alarm is going on. All right.